Hello. Uh, Good morning. Just about. It's RahYutuber time. What? What the? 2 raids in like 1 second? Hikari Sentinel and Maxwell Flyweight, thank you so much for jumping in. I literally just started my stream, so I hadn't even introduced what I'm doing yet, so hey. Double raid indeed. Thank you for popping in. If you need to de-stream, go ahead. Otherwise, if you want to stick around, I'm going to be doing some RahYutuber development today. So basically my plan was, if I need to go find my to-do list now. Where is that? There it is. Right. So there was this alt mount tracking that based on movement only, but also I had been actually planning to do something else that was requested. Add an Easter egg where a scary skull pops out and scares you. No. But you can do that with your own model if you like. Just stick it on a random timer. It might happen. So the thing I was going to try and do was actually add global tracking settings, or global tracking settings basically in a tab in the preferences menu, so that you can I have a Tamagotchi. Yes, this is the Bunnigotchi. It's for Studio Jumpstar's re-debut. I just realized it's not actually that visible on the main view. It's getting cut off. So I'm going to go move it. Didn't really have anything good to attach it to, so it's being attached to the seam. The dangly physics, yeah. It was enjoyable to set up. But yeah, this is to support Studio Jumpstar's re-debut that's coming soon. Next week, I think. Anyway, global tracking settings is the first thing we're doing. So I figure that out. Where are they in here? Here it is. This is all the tracking stuff. So right now on this very stream. Right, so essentially I need to copy all these settings for the tracking and then have like a global version of these that just updates these. So I should probably put these in their own sort of struct, I think. I'm not sure whether to include the tracking type in that. Hey JBub Games, welcome in. It's going good so far. I've literally only just started, so it's going well because I haven't done anything yet. But yeah, I'm putting in tracking, like global tracking settings into RahYutuber. So not strict, I mean struct. Struct. which is immediately going to break like everything. Yippee! Hey, Studio Jumpstar, welcome in. Hey, look, I've got your Tamagotchi, I've got your Bunnigotchi on. I had to slightly adjust the position because it was clipping off the bottom of the screen, but yeah. So this is Studio Jumpstar, who is doing the redebut next week, I think. No, 2 weeks from now. Something like that. And you can see the little, you can see Bug in the little Bunnigotchi. Not so much when it's moving, but there they are. Okay, so I'm sticking tracking settings into their own little structure, which means I can now copy them back and forth from the global settings to this. So now I just need to set up a global tracking settings. A little bit. So all the way down here, I'm going to go for probably something like this. Please imagine the meme where grandma is squinting through her glasses. That's me trying to see the pic in the Tamagotchi. Yeah, I could have made it bigger, but then it'd be like massive compared to Edie. Hang on, wait. That's hopefully slightly bigger. A little version of you, yeah, I do have it. Forever. Mine now. Right, so actually that is layer info tracking settings. Global tracking. People have it small and then they can't see it, so they ask about it, yeah. What do you mean you're not watching this in maximum HD on your TV so you can just stick your nose close to the telly and see it? Put on my cool business degree glasses. Yeah, speaking of pro marketing techniques, Bug actually has some of those. What's going on here today? We are doing global tracking settings so that essentially you can choose to you can either have tracking settings per layer or you can just have them as using the global ones so that you only have to set it up once. So adding a flag for use global tracking. I think I'm going to put it to I'm going to set it as true, but then if I load a layer that already has tracking without this setting on it, then it will switch it back to false so that it doesn't break any old models. I think that's what I'm going to do. Need to remember that for later. So yeah, now we have a tracking settings struct. So I need to put all of these in that. So let's find all of those and replace it with tracking settings dot effect. Cool. And now the same for joypad effect. And tracking axis. Going to be a lot of these. Oh, that one doesn't actually want to get replaced. I've gone and done a silly find replace here. Match the whole word. That would make much more sense. Tracking smooth, need to do that as well. Move limits. Tracking scale mode. I think. Yeah, there's a lot of these. Because we already had a lot of tracking settings, which is why I'm putting this in, because unfortunately part of the issue was that we had too many tracking settings to redo for every layer when you have lots of different things set up. So previously the only option was to set it up on one layer and duplicate it. Obviously, if you've done tracking and then duplicated things and then you change your mind, then there's no easy way to copy it all back and forth. So welcome in, Queenie, by the way. I forgot to say that. I did see it pop out. Oh. No, damn it. So many settings. Pretty sure there's some sort of regular expression cheat that you can do that means that it automatically puts in what you're... I don't want to look that up right now. Okay, we're nearly there. In fact, there's only one left. There we go. Okay. Right, so that's all those replaced to the point where I can now just use that as it was. I think I have a tracking tester file somewhere. Taking a little while to build. Oh, here we go. That's again somebody else's file, which for some reason has still remained in my settings. Did I not have a tracking test? Okay, fine. New file. Yeah. Hi, Ina. Eppies. Tracking test. New layer. That one. Go. Right. Okay. So that's a thing. Go without the talking and blinking. Turning off these. Just one tracking. So tracking is on. And we've got mouse tracking around this. There we go. Around this crosshair, which is currently locked to the middle of my window, but then I can do follow window, and now it's moving with the window. I am doing okay. Although I just realized I need to go and get a drink because I'm super croaky right now. 1 second. Right, I'm back. Being croaky makes the streams riveting. Oh, the duck is behind the... No! What is this? Dare you, ducky? How dare you? Lucky goes above that, I think. Make most sense. The vanishing duck is a good one. Good meme. Oh, it disappears when I hide the... My bad. Disappears when I save the file. Anyway, where were we? Right, so that's the tracking settings per layer, and that still works, thankfully. We just... Do I have a control by... Okay. Controller, you are plugged in. Right. Controller is plugged in. So, cool. Now we have controller working. That goes to... I've got the tracking on the mouse. I've got tracking on the controller. Yep. Good. Okay. So, save that. That's the tracking test. Next. Okay. So, so this is tracking settings. That's the current ones we're using. Time. We actually need a copy for old or like unique. Okay. Why have I suddenly got loads of errors? Okay, it's just because it didn't update. So we have a structure.
The Polynesian spot.
Indeed. We have a structure we can copy around now, so I need to now add the user interface that lets me do that. So on DrawGUI, somewhere around here. There it is. Going to a sauna festival in a few weeks. That sounds interesting. Doesn't that involve... I imagine that involves way too many people being sweaty in the same room. Just like a sauna by itself is too much for me. A festival? A festival for sauna using... That is mind-blowing to me. Okay, there's motion. Tracking is down here somewhere. There it is. I didn't actually make a little marker for that one. So, 3 Aufguss per day part, all with different stories. Then there's separate activities. Out at the nature resort. Nice. What's an Aufguss? So, tracking type is going to be still independent, and then we're going to have a Boolean value for PNGTuber, same line. It's a sort of sauna ritual where they pour scented water onto the rocks and wave the steam around the sauna. Relaxation through suffering, basically. Yeah, to me that sounds horrible. But I don't like being hot, and I don't like strong perfumes. So that's great if you love it. Not for me. Absolutely not for me. I love strong scents. Not what most people use as perfumes. These are mostly natural scents like pine sap or a flower. Still, that sounds nice if you like it. For me, nuh-uh. I have a thing where, like, if there's a scent that's particularly too strong, I can't concentrate on anything else. So I'm just like, short bursts of heat I love because after you cool down again. Nice, yeah. I have been in a sauna before and I didn't hate it, but like I was by myself, so the point you're only concentrating on exist. I love that. And it's such a great way to frame it of like in other words, you're fighting for your life and that's all you can concentrate on. But it's so relaxing. Right, so if we switch to use global tracking, we need to save the old settings. So unique tracking equals tracking settings. And then tracking settings. Going to be mostly lurking while doing some housework. Nice. All right. Actually, you know what? Why am I doing that? I should be doing this. Hope yours go fast and easy. Indeed. Actually, that is going to be a pointer. And then we don't need to save the unique ones. We just go tracking settings equals and parent global tracking setting. Global tracking. Else. Pointer? I hardly know it. I'm so sorry. It's stronger than myself. Shame on you. Shame on you. I'm a hyena. I know no shame. Right, so tracking settings now has to be a pointer everywhere. So find that, replace it with arrows. Done. Right, so that is I'm going to have to set that to whatever we're doing as soon as I load as well. So when we create a new layer, I need to set that, and also when actually creating a new layer should be enough. So if layer use global tracking, layer tracking settings equals global tracking, else layer tracking settings equals pointer to layer unique tracking. Hopefully that's okay. Because obviously if this moves in memory, then we lose that reference. So I think I've already set up the layers so that they don't move around in memory. I made them unique pointers, I think. If not, we have problems, but I think that should work. So that sets that up. When we load a layer, so on load layers, when we query the attributes for tracking, super duper dudes. Wow. Right, so query bool attribute. Let's do this. So found global this layer find attribute. And let's say this is use global tracking. Use tracking. So if we get a pointer out of that, then we have it. Okay, so then query bool attribute as well. However, if we found global preference, if we didn't find global preference, then use global tracking will be false if tracking is enabled. Else, you do this. So basically, if we're using an old file that doesn't have this preference saved, then it will use global. It won't use global tracking if we had tracking enabled already on the layer. And that lets people manually enable that later if they want to. But if they've saved a file where we have this setting saved, then it will use that. That's the plan. Let's hope that actually does what I think it does, because it should do. But that's the plan. Right, so now I need some way of setting up a global tracking setting. Let's play this anyway. See if the user interface I set up works. Uh-oh. Well, that broke. Now I need to go and debug. Exception thrown. Right access violation. What am I doing? Querying a ball attribute. Follow elliptical. Oh, good. Ah, because tracking settings doesn't exist yet. That's weird. So, where we make the layer, we're doing... Hey, Knitting Kitten. How's it going? Oh, you know. Ah, I see. I didn't actually use the add layer function here. So I do need to add it in as layer tracking settings equals layer pointer to layer unique tracking. Now that should work. Open that track. Okay. Where is my thing? There it is. Do debug. Tracking test. Okay. Tracking settings are still working. So we've got a global settings. That is actually now, we have a global settings for the tracking and it's all using the defaults at the moment. Which is fine. So the tracking settings pointer is set to use default, the unique tracking here. Then actually, tell you what, just to future-proof this, should find and replace in here with track dot. Because I don't want to ever accidentally save layer tracking settings to the global one. So we're setting it to unique tracking here, and then actually at the end, if we get if layer.use global tracking at the end of this, then layer.tracking settings going to be tracking. Put a section in here for this as well. Okay, that's all in there. I need to also put in a sort of a sub function for drawing the actual tracking menu because I'm going to need it. Right, so that can't be on the same line. That's just going to have to be on the next line. Get rid of the braces. They're just using up space. Right, so we're going to have to do some fiddling around here. So right, so those are the things that are outside of the what do you call it? So if we are in the global dialog, we actually don't want to have this. Put that flag check in there. Sorry, if not is global dialog, then we have that box there. Make these references as well. Thank you for the head pats, Queenie. Now I need in here. Okay, I think that was all the tracking types. Then tracking enabled. That's not part of this anyway, right? So I can now do can extract this as a function. So all of this stuff. Actually, well, so that should now let me drop out this whole thing as a separate function. I'm really glad you appreciate it. Yeah, I've had this particular thing requested, so oh god, Maroon 5. I forgot this was on here. Okay, this is a big function as well. Right, so that is wait, why am I doing that? I should just minimize this whole thing. Doink. Now I know exactly where I am. That needs to get extracted. Extract function. Skip Maroon 5. So that is now draw tracking GUI. Okay. How is the declaration immediately incompatible? Oh, apparently it doesn't have a member called tracking mode. Oh, because that was not defined above this thing, I think. Hey, yeah, it was. Why am I scrolling up through this? Let's use the big window. Oh, where is that? Oh no. Player info. Draw tracking GUI. Yeah, because that's got put on bottom here. So let's put these enum definitions all the way at the top. move all of them up there, because they should have always been at the top. Okay, I think that's good. Yeah, okay. Ironically though, now I'm actually going to move this out of the layer info because I want to be able to call that from the main layer manager. So that's going to go down here. And we're actually going to take a pointer to a layer info as well. No, we're going to take a pointer to a tracking settings. Okay, that's going to pop down there. I'm going to get rid of the layer info thing here. But now we don't need all the parent pointers either. What's wrong with this? That should be a pointer. Okay, good. Now we are doing the layer ID in there as well. Not that we're going to use it for the global one. Pop this at the end. Default false. And then have that in there. The end. Update that as well. So is global dialog at the end. And then we've got a layer ID. Ooh. Make it a const reference. Save a little bit of memory. Oh, come on. Please let me highlight nicely. Oh, you have to... I hate this, the way it scrolls when you're trying to highlight horizontally, because if you go off the end of the... well, off the top or the bottom of this line, it snaps you back to the beginning of the next line. Not what I wanted. Okay, cool. So now that should be updated. Same signature. Good. All of these enums are going to be wrong now because they were relying on being in the scope of the layer info. So get rid of this parent pointer. These on. Got a few of these to get rid of. Ah. So I'm also going to have to take a layer info tracking that unique tracking right, so we're going to take a unique tracking as well for actually let's make that a pointer as well because I don't want to be copying that every single time. but it's just going to be null by default. Knitting is precious and lovely and so kind. Yay. I love kind people. I had sorry, that sounded so patronizing. I didn't mean it to be patronizing. Okay. Everyone needs to be nicer to themselves, to be honest. The general trend I see. Keyboard smash. We got him. I used to struggle with perfectionism. I still do sometimes, but nowadays my lack of energy just takes precedence. I'm like, yeah, I really want it to be perfect, but also I'm tired. And also, doing these streams kind of helps in a way because it saves me from that in a little way of like, I don't want to bore everybody by making them watch me perfect this. As long as it's good enough and it works, then that is what we get. Perfect is the enemy of good, indeed. There is no such thing as perfect. It does not exist. Better to have something to improve on than never release something that's not good enough yet. Exactly. RahiTuber users will know that I'm very good at releasing something that needs improving on. I don't have the lore. I don't know the Friday episode, but I hope you're doing okay. Anyway. Okay, where's the errors? There's still some errors. Ah, found you. Okay, cool. That's that function done. Now I can do this. I need to put in the layer ID and the unique tracking. I think that's right. Ah, that now goes at the end and it's false anyway. And tracking settings goes in there. I think that's right now. What's wrong with this? Non-static member reference must be relative to us. Oh. There. Doing a basic JS website and it's kicking your ass, but also did what you always do when entertaining an idea, overcomplicated it. Yes, I do this too. Although actually I think what I'm basically doing at the moment, most of my work for the last few months on DrawTrackingGUI has essentially been unlazifying it because I did a lot of things in the lazy way where it just involved a lot of sort of copy paste and a lot of not really putting things into proper functions. So now this is what I'm doing, where I'm having to put things into their own function, make it work nicely. Banana miso. Tiramisu with banana bread. Ooh, nice. That does sound good. Okay, so we now have a function that will draw our overall thing. I also need a function that's going to get the layer info tracking settings, get tracking things, then tracking, because I'm going to need that in my advanced menu tab. What's wrong with that? Ah, the pointer, that's why. Okay, cool. So we have everything set up to enable the main menu version of that. So I should now go to main engine, menu advanced. We're going to need a new tab. Begin tab item. I'm going to pop it at the end after phonemes, I think. And this is going to be tracking. So we are going to do layer, layer man. Layer man is going to do get settings. And then we're going to do layer man draw tracking GUI with that as the first thing. Indent size will be 0 because we're in a different menu. Tracking type. We need a global tracking type. I'm glad I've improved your mood somehow. That's kind of you, thank you. Tracking type, I think I'm actually going to set that as just nothing, because I'm going to ignore it. Tracking none. Oh, yeah. So tracking none. There you go. What's wrong with that? Oh, it needs to be a reference. Damn. Okay. What am I doing? I don't know what happened there, but I seem to have pasted something on the layer, on the line above. Tracking. No. There you go. Queenie's great. We love Queenie. Use global tracking. Doesn't matter. That's another reference. Style. Do I have it? Yes, I do. Layer ID will be nothing. Let's say global. Yes, you. Hi, Zach, as well. I like your funny accent, Magic Dragon. Unique tracking is going to be null pointer. And global dialog is actually 2 this time. Done. So hopefully that should give us a menu that we want. I just need to go into Layer Manager again and turn off the turn off the thing about selecting a tracking type if we're on global dialog. Actually, we don't want those, so rid of that. If not global dialog, then we're going to do these two. I can't tell if what Zach said was directed to Queenie or Rahi because it could apply to both. Yes. Yeah. To Zach, we both have magical, funny accents. I love that you have a skull badge, Zach, as well. That's excellent. Oh, the build failed. That's fun. Why? What did I do? I did that. That's what I did. Put a colon in the wrong place. Nobody wants their colon in the wrong place. Did you just give me 200 bits? Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Very kind. You put your head down and chilling, that's why it's a badge. Nice. Ina. Bad. Why does it expect a bracket there? Odd. Because it uses the same name as a different thing. And what's wrong with this? Huh? Right, build it again. Okay, we're up. We're up. Let's load this testing thing again. Okay, we got a test. We got tracking, and we have use global settings as a tick box. I need to also make it disable the rest of this menu when we're doing that. So in preferences, we now have a tracking thing, and that is there. Seem to be missing half the stuff. Oh, I know. Right, so actually, I should, in the main engine one, I actually need this to be tracking both. So that it gives me the options for both. Kiwi! So like, yeah, you're close to Zach, a lot closer than I am, but still not that close. Okay, cool. Now we have the full menu. So that will now be setting up tracking menu, the global tracking settings. So yeah, I'm actually going to have to go into layer manager, disable. What kind of game? We're not making a game. We are making refactoring. This is the software that I'm actually using on my avatar right now. I wrote this PNGTuber software maybe 2 or 3 years ago, 2024, 2023 maybe. And yeah, I'm just adding new stuff in. Yeah, what am I doing? Right, so in DrawTrackingGUI, we actually want to if use global tracking and not global dialog, wait. So that will be where we Right, so actually, if we're not using global tracking, or it is the global dialog, then we want to show all these objects. Otherwise, they're going to be hidden. So, get rid of all this. All the way down to there. Cut, paste. Zach, you would not disappoint. You are a good streamer. Love thyself. I am close to thee. I get the feeling you meant to write there. Them. Zach, medieval arc. Okay. Tracking. Got everything there. And on the layer, tracking, use global settings, and then it all goes down to nothing. Telephone acting up, but I would totally go medieval on one's arse. Indeed. I think you should. Okay, so we have global tracking settings now, so we can do follows window. Oh, that's not doing the thing. Interesting. Oh, actually, I need to put this in a collapsing header. So this collapsing header, basically, I need to make optional. So cool header open is that. Header open, oh, true. Then if we are not in the global dialog, we actually make the collapse header. If not, might be adding more controller support, button presses for different expressions. You can do button presses for different expressions already. That's part of the states. So if, with the state hotkeys, you can record controller buttons on those as well. Right, so if not global dialog, we also need to put the end of that thing in there, wherever that is. Or maybe not. Maybe I don't need to do that. Right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm adding global tracking settings. So, we have this file that's using tracking settings on by itself. So we've got, let's say this one's going to be 500, not 500, 500, 500, and it's going to rotate as you move the mouse up and down. So it's moving around up and down. So there's that. Let's save that. And if I go preferences, tracking, we've got a different set of options here. If I tick use global settings, should, and I say should, switch to using those, but actually it doesn't seem to be doing that. And I don't know why. So that's the next puzzle. If we are using global tracking, oh no, use global settings. So it should set the tracking settings to this global setting there. Let's see. So we've got our layer with the weird tracking stuff on it, and then if I tick that, okay, global tracking. The tracking move limits are 50, 50. Right, so that would now, after this point, say, yeah, so that's now pointing at the global settings. Which is good. But why didn't it? Info, add tracking movement. I'm going to stick a breakpoint in here and like debug through that. So tracking settings are now, should still be pointing at the one with, nope. They're not. Why? That's weird. This is a layer info, right? What have we got in here? We should have use global tracking is true, yes. But the tracking settings still following, will still seem to be the same as the unique tracking, which is very weird. Did something wrong somewhere. Okay. So when we draw this, we're taking in the tracking settings that we're modifying. Just a pointer to the layers tracking settings. And then we have a pointer to the unique ones at the end. Am I winning? Well, we have a UI for it, but at the moment, for some reason, the unique layers aren't using the global tracking. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm hoping it's not too much for FAF to resolve as well. Because I just stepped through it and I saw it get assigned in here. But then when it gets out to the main menu, wait, no, when it gets to the actual, like, doing the tracking movement, it's like forgotten. So we have this layer with this tracking setting. It's using, let's say tracking here is mouse only, just to make it extra obvious. Wait, no, actually that doesn't matter. Because basically the idea is that the tracking type is always separate, so you can choose to have some of the global settings or all of them. And then so when I tick that, we should be setting tracking settings, which are currently with the 500 move limits and everything, to the global tracking, which has tracking move limits of 50. So tracking settings, let's have a watch on that. What's a trace point? Break when value changes. Let's do that. That's a fun thing. So, continue. Right. Tracking changes changed there. That makes sense. Continue. Ah. It changed. Why did it change there? Where are we? We just got out of that DrawTrackingGUI. Oh, because we've got tracking enabled. It shouldn't even be... That's not even in this struct, so I don't know why it changed. Okay, changed again. Interesting. Why is it changing all the time? I don't actually see anything in this changing. The address isn't changing. The contents aren't changing.
What is blue and doesn't weigh much? Light blue.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Okay, how do I remove that breakpoint? How could you do this to me? So rude. So rude. Okay, why am I getting... and I do it again too. No! Okay, clearly that tracking thing doesn't make any difference, make any sense. Let's track that one. Add a watch. No. Right, remove. Oh, what am I doing? Continue. Get rid of the breakpoint. Where's this breakpoint? There it is. Settings. Right, let's get rid of that. Delete. Now I know how to do that. Okay. Let's get the watch back on there. Where is it? Add watch. And then on the layer manager on DrawTrackingGUI, I'm going to add a watch on that as well. Okay, continue. Right, so if I untick that, it goes back to using the unique tracking. If I tick this, there we are. So we have global tracking is 50/50. Unique tracking is 500/500. That's what we want. So actually, it's good because the global tracking settings haven't changed. Tracking movement. So here we're setting the tracking movement. So continue. Tracking amount has changed, but the other things haven't. And tracking settings. is using the globe. Wait, no. Tracking settings is now currently still using the local one. It should be using the global settings. Global tracking is the 50/50 one. Tracking settings is a pointer, right? So I should just be able to set that pointer to point at the right. So now tracking settings is pointing at the global settings by the looks of it. Yeah, all those values have changed. Continue. But here it's back to being tracking movement. There. It's changed again. What? Find me all of these. Tracking settings equal. It's in add layer, I believe, but I'm going to stick breakpoints on it anyway. Thank you for the cute note. Ah, is it this? No, because I'm not loading anything. Shouldn't be anyway. So that, what's changing it? It's really weird. Get rid of that for now. Put it on, but then turn it off. Delete all the rest of these. Okay. Yeah, the sticky notes have defined positions that they go on. Okay, get rid of that. I thought I told. Okay, never mind. I got the wrong one. Got the wrong one. Right. So tracking in. So we're not using global settings right now. But we've got 500, 500. Tick that. So my watch is not refreshed because I didn't have it open. Right. Yeah, the paw print that goes on here is each of them has their own position that they always appear in. There's no randomness to it. It's just whichever one you picked has its own position. Right, so local tracking settings is 500, 500, but then we're changing it to that. Continue. But now it's immediately wrong again. What changed it back? If you do, Zach, I will rant about Bionicles and hate you the whole time through it. I'm changing that pointer up here. I think it's that I think something's going wrong with like the pointers are moving or something. So let's go in the top of add tracking movement. I'm just going to put it in here. If global tracking so now it's going to check and do that each time. Okay, so we have it on unique tracking and then use global settings. Don't need those anymore. I know what those do. Aha, interesting. Right, so yeah, obviously the pointer moves and I didn't realize that. So now we know. If I untick that, yeah, because I set this one to 500, but I didn't set this one to 500. That should be like that, right? I use global settings now and then go back. Okay.
Greater than 83.
Ah, greater than 83. You have to tell me, you're supposed to tell me what about Bionicle you want me to info dump. That's why there's a text field in there. I can't just info dump all of Bionicle. Clearly, things in Bionicle over 83. I don't know about that, to be honest. Anyway, I think we have now got a global thing working. So in the global settings, if I change the neutral position to follow window, yep, and then now that's in the center of the window. Let's say it's gonna, so controller effect is going to be like UV right stick. Yep. Okay. Then on here, if I go to mouse, then we've got the mouse one, but yep, the stick doesn't do anything despite the fact we're using global settings. Good, that's what I wanted. Controller access, we've got no mouse, but then the stick works. I turn off global settings. That's still on right stick, but actually if I go to left stick here, left stick up and down, right stick no. Use global settings, right stick up and down, left stick no. Good. Right, so that is now working as I wanted it to. Now I think I just need to... Okay, I need to expand the preferences window a little bit because these have all got abbreviated. I don't want that. And I also want to add some tooltips about what this actually does. In fact, I don't have tooltips for any of these tabs. Probably should. But I've just seen the time actually. So we've got to the point where we have global tracking. And essentially now, actually, if I add a new layer... Oh.
Rahi, please help me. I'm suffocating. My cat Archie farted and it smells so bad. Oh god, I can taste it. The CO2 is too toxic to describe it. Oh, if only I didn't actually a nose like my avatar. Oh god, the window's jammed. I need oxygen, it's so bad, I'm dying. Please expel oxygen in my general direction while gushing about Bionicle's lore.
Zach? I'm not sure I can do that by gushing about Bionicle's lore, because when you talk, you also emit CO2. Things in Bionicle over 83 then, why not? Fine. The height of the Great Spirit Robot, that's like... I think it was something stupid like 10 million meters tall or something. Skelly Zack and their cat, Smelly Zack. There's more than 83 Borok in the Borok swarm. There's more than 83 different combinations of Rakshi and Krataslug. There's a lot of things that are more than 83. Right, anyway, that's a new layer, and it should have tracking defaulting to global settings, but if I load in a different thing, let's go... Smelly Zack, Smelly Zack, Smelly Zack, and a smelly cat early in the morning. Take home from this is there are lots of things in Bionicle over 83, and the next time I meet another Bionicle fan in person, I'll spread this knowledge like a champ. Yeah, good. Okay, let's grab Queenie. You're coming with me. So, layer use global tracking is set to true, interestingly, on some of these. But, right, so we should have... Tell us about how you have more than 83 Bionicles in your collection. I do have more than 83 Bionicles in my collection, to be honest. Right, this one's got tracking. And it doesn't have global settings. Good, because that's... It already had some, and we didn't have this setting saved. Good. Because the global settings, I think, are still going to be what we had before. Nope, they're not. They're random numbers, I think. Oh no, they're not. They're not. because I can actually now go use global settings, and we've got that in the middle. Cool. Right, so I do now need to be able to save that setting. So on save layers, we're going to do down here, tracking enabled. That attribute, use global tracking, use global tracking. Done. When you were younger, your mum didn't get you any Bionicles because it's for boys, so you missed the whole hype train. Ah, oh, boo to your mum, indeed. Yeah. Somehow, I think Lego messed up the marketing there. Well, to be honest, actually, no. Lego marketed it for boys. They were like, this is a thing for boys. And so, yeah. But there's so many girls who I know now that are or were into Bionicle and wished that it had been marketed towards them as well. But yeah, silly. Cool. So we made global tracking settings today. Hi, I'm girls. Yeah. So we're going to do a new update with that in it at some point, but that's basically where I'm going to leave it today. I need to polish it up a bit more, but we've got a global menu now with its own tracking settings that everything can just inherit from. So on here we've got tracking, use global settings, save, should now be able to reload that and keep that set. Yep. Good. So that's just spinny. And then if I take it off global settings, we've got that instead, which is just default. Interestingly, it did seem to lose the movement limits I had set when I saved it with the global settings on, which is weird. So that's, do that again, save it, reload it. Still the same, use global settings, save it, reload it. So now it's using global settings. If I untick that, okay, so we lost that. And let me just check global settings. That's still the same as it was. All right, so I have a bug to fix, but I'll do that before I update it. But it can't be on this stream because I've got to end roughly now. So thank you everybody for coming to watch. Let's see if we can find a raid target. Ubi Online. Goblet Flight. I haven't actually jumped in on them. They're in my stream team, and I don't know them very well. But let's jump in, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.